Hi, my name is Bert Nussbaumer from macrobeat.co.uk. Today I would like just to have a quick chat around Brexit, given that we get to the sort of pinnacle of what has been a rather amazing 1001 days since we voted for to leave the European Union. Just last night, the EU Council had a very long session to come up yet with another compromise in terms of the extension of what the government in the UK has asked, the extension for the Brexit deadline. So the compromise now is that we kick the can for a cliff-edge Brexit down to the 12th of April. So that means when Theresa May would lose the vote next week on the meaningful vote, the UK has until the 12th of April to come up with any sort of plans, what they like to do or how Parliament likes to see or construct the actual Brexit deal. Should Theresa May win the vote, then obviously everything goes back to normal, where we have the actual deadline is going to be the 22nd of May, just a day before the European elections, and then things, be rather clear and smooth. At this point in time, as some of the TV commentators said, we are really preparing for what could be a potential mother of all constitutional crisis next week. So it's going to be really critical to see what exactly the outcome is going to be. And even though the market still seems not to really price in some sort of a risk of a no-deal Brexit, I think there is still the risk that we have an accidental no-deal Brexit, because there can't just be any agreements in Parliament. The slides I'd like to show you today is, the first one is Sterling Trade Weight Index. So we see we had rather nice recovery in the last many weeks or most of 2019, which was really more based around the fact that the market got the idea that with no real consensus in the UK government, there's indeed a chance for either a soft Brexit or even no Brexit at all. So that's really where we have seen the recovery in sterling so far in 2019. After hitting this sort of resistance area of the last sort of Fibonacci levels before the old highs, is really when things became a little bit more tricky in terms of the back and forth between deal or no deal, or soft Brexit or no Brexit or whatsoever, and the markets just start to get a little bit more impatient. On the next slide, we take a quick look at cable. Cable had a real go at this 2019 support era around 130, 2030, where we just see that yesterday morning when the news out of Brussels came in, when things started to look as if the EU wouldn't agree to any kind of shift of the deadline, the market really started to get a little bit nervous around the fact that there actually could be suddenly a no-deal Brexit. On the next slide, we see sterling yen, where we tested the real big area again. So sterling has really just tested all the key areas on the downside, various pairs. And should we really start to get a feeling that we get a risk of a no deal really creeping back up again, sterling could really suffer a lot, especially that we are just trading around the real key levels in some of the crosses. On the next slide, we have the euro sterling. So despite obviously weakness in the euro area, which sort of moved down from early in the year, has really been a combination of, as I said, the hope of a soft Brexit or no Brexit, which supported sterling. On the other side, we have obviously weaker European data, or actually quite weak European data. So the move down in euro sterling was a bit a combination of the two. The breakout in the last few days on the upside is, as I said, more linked to the sudden realization that actually the Brexit deal is far from clear, and a soft Brexit is far from clear, and that actually there is some risk of a no-deal Brexit creeping in. So sterling should really start to come off its highs a little bit, given the big key week we have. The last slide is sterling Aussie. Again, there we tested the entire support of the last few months. We just barely held in, and that just shows just these sort of four slides on the sterling crosses would definitely show you that sterling is really just on the edge, and the developments for next week are really crucial. So what we see next week, who knows? At this point in time, we really thought everything is home and dry. It isn't, and so it's going to be a big key week in the UK, which could be a key week for actually global risk as well. Thanks very much indeed, and I wish you a lovely week.